How to improve your communication skills and connect deeply with others. Welcome to a journey that has the power to change everything. A journey not to a distant land, but within yourself and into the heart of how you connect with every single person in your life. Have you ever felt like your words just bounced off someone, leaving you unheard and misunderstood? Or perhaps you've struggled to truly grasp what another person was feeling or trying to say, leading to frustration and distance. In a world that is more connected than ever through screens and devices, the irony is that true, deep human connection often feels scarce. We send countless messages, yet sometimes feel isolated. We talk a lot, but do we truly communicate? This book is your guide to transforming the way you interact with the world. It's about more than just talking. It's about understanding, empathy, and building bridges that last. Think about it. Every single moment of your day, you are communicating. From the way you greet your family in the morning, to the emails you send at work, to the simple nod you give a stranger on the street. Communication is the invisible thread that weaves through the fabric of our lives, shaping our relationships, our careers, and our overall happiness. Many of us go through life believing that communication is just something we do, like breathing. We think we're good at it, or we simply accept that we're not. But the truth is, communication is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. You don't need to be naturally charismatic or an expert orator. You already possess the fundamental tools. This book will simply show you how to sharpen them, how to use them with intention and power. You might be wondering if this is another book filled with boring definitions and complex theories. Absolutely not. We will delve into real facts and practical insights, but our focus will always be on the how. How do you listen so that others feel truly heard? How do you speak so your message lands clearly and powerfully? How do you navigate disagreements without breaking bonds? How do you build instant rapport with new people and deepen the trust with those you already cherish? This isn't just about making your life easier, though it certainly will. It's about empowering you to build stronger friendships, more loving family dynamics, a more successful career, and a deeper sense of belonging in the world. When you improve your communication, you improve your ability to influence, to inspire, to support, and to love. You become a better friend, a better partner, a better leader, and most importantly, a more confident and authentic version of yourself. So let go of any old beliefs that you're just not good at talking or that it's too late to change. Every page in this book is an invitation to unlock a potential within you that is waiting to flourish. Get ready to connect more deeply with others, to express yourself with clarity and confidence, and to experience the profound joy that comes from truly being seen and understood. Your journey starts now. Take a deep breath. You are capable of extraordinary connection. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Invisible Force. Why communication is your superpower. Imagine for a moment a world where every conversation you had was clear, meaningful, and genuinely connected. Imagine no more misunderstandings with your partner, no more awkward silences with new acquaintances, no more feeling overlooked at work. This isn't a fantasy, it's the potential that lies within improved communication. Communication isn't just a soft skill, it is in fact your superpower. It is the invisible force that shapes every single outcome in your life, often without you even realizing it. Think about the feeling you get when someone truly listens to you, without interrupting, without judging, just soaking in your words. You feel heard, valued, and understood. That feeling is the magic of good communication at play. Now, flip that around. How do you feel when you're trying to explain something important, and the other person is checking their phone, or their eyes are darting around, or they cut you off to offer advice you didn't ask for? You feel dismissed, frustrated, and disconnected. This difference isn't just about politeness. It's about the very core of human interaction. Your ability to communicate effectively impacts every area of your life. Let's look at some real-life impacts. In your family, good communication leads to less conflict and more joy. Instead of arguments stemming from assumptions or unspoken resentments, you can have open, honest conversations. Imagine discussing chores or finances or even vacation plans with ease, where everyone feels heard and respected. A study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family found that effective communication is one of the strongest predictors of marital satisfaction. When couples can talk through their issues, express their needs, and truly listen to each other, their bond strengthens and their happiness increases. This isn't about avoiding disagreements entirely, but about having the tools to navigate them without causing lasting damage. It's about creating a safe space where everyone feels comfortable sharing their true thoughts and feelings, knowing they will be met with understanding, not judgment. You build a family environment that feels supportive and loving, a true sanctuary. At work, communication is directly linked to better teamwork and career growth. Think about a project team where everyone knows their roles, where ideas are shared openly, and where feedback is given constructively. That's a productive team. On the flip side, a team where people withhold information, gossip, or fail to delegate clearly will struggle. A report by the Economist Intelligence Unit revealed that poor communication causes significant failures in businesses, leading to lower morale, missed performance objectives, and even lost sales. But the opposite is also true. When you can articulate your ideas clearly in meetings, present your work confidently, or even just listen attentively to your colleagues, you stand out. You become a go-to person, someone who builds bridges, not walls. Your superiors notice your ability to collaborate and solve problems, which directly impacts your potential for promotions and new opportunities. Good communication at work isn't just about being polite. It's about being effective, productive, and a valuable asset to any team. In your friendships, communication fosters deeper bonds and lasting trust. Friends are the family we choose, and like any relationship, they thrive on clear, honest connection. How do you support a friend going through a tough time? By listening, truly listening, and offering words of comfort and understanding. How do you resolve a disagreement with a friend? By having an open conversation, sharing your feelings, and working towards a solution. Friendships that lack open communication often wither away or become superficial. But those where friends feel safe to share their vulnerabilities and successes, to be authentic and truly themselves, those are the friendships that endure a lifetime. These are the friends who will stand by you, because you have built a foundation of trust through genuine communication. And perhaps most importantly, good communication contributes to your own well-being. When you can express your needs clearly, you reduce stress. When you can articulate your feelings, you prevent bottled-up emotions from festering. When you understand others, you feel less isolated and more connected to the world around you. This boosts your confidence. You know you can handle difficult conversations. You know you can build rapport with new people. This self-assurance translates into every aspect of your life. It's like a powerful ripple effect. When you improve your communication, not only do you benefit, but everyone you interact with benefits too. You become a more effective communicator, and this effectiveness leads to greater peace of mind and a stronger sense of self-worth. Now you might be thinking, but I'm just not a people person, or I'm naturally shy. This is a common misconception. Communication is not a born-with-it talent. No one comes out of the womb an expert negotiator or a master listener. It's a skill, just like riding a bike, learning to cook, or playing a musical instrument. You start wobbly, you make mistakes, you might even fall a few times, but with practice, you get better. You become smoother, more confident, more effective. Consider this. A baby learns to communicate long before they speak. They cry when they're hungry, they smile when they're happy, they point to what they want. These are all forms of communication. As adults, we have a much wider array of tools at our disposal. Words, tone of voice, body language, written messages. But sometimes we forget how to use them intentionally. This book will help you rediscover and refine those tools. The journey to becoming a better communicator starts with a simple choice. The choice to be intentional. It's choosing to pay attention to how you speak and how you listen. It's choosing to be curious about others rather than just focused on yourself. It's choosing to be clear rather than vague. Every single interaction is an opportunity to practice and grow. Think about a small, everyday example. You ask your partner, "What do you want for dinner?" And they say, "I don't care, whatever you want." This seems simple, but it's a communication challenge. A less effective communicator might get frustrated or just decide for them. A more effective communicator might say, "Okay, but if you had to pick something, is there anything you're really craving or anything you absolutely don't want?" This simple follow-up demonstrates deeper listening and a desire for real input, not just a surface-level answer. It shows you care about their preferences, even if they initially express indifference. Another example, a colleague sends you a confusing email. You could just ignore it or send back an equally vague response. Or you could take a moment to ask, "Could you clarify what you mean by X? I want to make sure I understand correctly." This small act of seeking clarification prevents potential errors, saves time, and shows your colleague that you are thorough and engaged. These aren't monumental shifts, but small, consistent efforts that add up to a powerful transformation. As you progress through this book, you'll learn actionable steps for listening more deeply, speaking more clearly, understanding nonverbal cues, navigating conflict, and building strong, authentic connections. You'll discover that your voice, used with intention and empathy, truly is your superpower. It has the capacity to uplift, to inspire, to heal, and to build the rich, connected life you truly desire. Embrace this journey. The rewards are immeasurable. Chapter 2, Looking Inward, Understanding Your Communication DNA. Before you can truly connect with others, before you can change how you speak or listen, you must first understand yourself. Think of it like a scientist studying DNA. Each of us has a unique communication DNA, a blueprint that guides how we naturally interact with the world. This blueprint has been shaped by your family, your culture, your past experiences, and even your personality. Recognizing your own communication DNA is the crucial first step to growth. Without this self-awareness, you might be trying to build a bridge without knowing where your own side of the riverbank is. So, how do you talk? Do you dive straight into your point, or do you circle around it? Do you avoid difficult conversations, hoping they'll just go away? Or do you confront issues head-on, sometimes perhaps too aggressively? These are not judgments, merely observations about your natural tendencies. Most of us fall into one of 4 general communication styles, or a mix of them depending on the situation and the person we are talking to. Understanding these styles, especially your dominant one, will give you incredible insight into why your conversations sometimes go off track and how you can steer them back on course. Let's explore these common communication styles in a simple way. First, there's the passive communicator. This person often avoids expressing their own needs, feelings, or opinions directly. They might hope others will guess what they want, or they might put others' needs before their own, even if it causes them internal resentment. They might say things like, "It's fine," when it's clearly not, or "whatever you want," even if they have strong preferences. Passive communication often stems from a fear of conflict, a desire to be liked, or a belief that their feelings aren't important. The core message they unconsciously send is, "My needs don't matter as much as yours." While they may seem easygoing, this style can lead to pent-up frustration, feeling unheard, and relationships that lack true depth because honesty is missing. Others might walk all over them, or not know what they truly want. Next, we have the aggressive communicator. This person expresses their needs and opinions, but often at the expense of others. They might dominate conversations, interrupt frequently, use blaming language, "you always," or even raise their voice. Their body language might be intimidating, pointing fingers, standing too close, or having a rigid posture. The aggressive style often comes from a place of wanting to control, a belief that they must fight to be heard, or a lack of empathy for others' feelings. The message they send is, my needs matter most, and yours don't. While they might get what they want in the short term, this style alienates people, creates fear, and damages relationships over time. People will avoid them, or only interact with them out of necessity, not genuine connection. Then there's the passive-aggressive communicator. This style is a sneaky blend of passive and aggressive. Instead of confronting issues directly, they express their anger or resentment in indirect, subtle ways. This might look like sarcasm, silent treatment, backhanded compliments, or procrastination. For example, instead of saying, "I'm upset you didn't help with dinner," they might sigh loudly, slam dishes, and then say, "Oh, nothing's wrong, I'm fine," when asked. They are often indirect because they fear direct confrontation, but still want their feelings to be known. The message they send is, "I'm angry, but I'm not going to tell you why directly, so you have to guess or deal with my indirect punishment." This style is incredibly frustrating for others, as it creates confusion, distrust, and makes genuine resolution almost impossible. It's like a slow poison in relationships. Finally, the style we aim for, the assertive communicator. This person expresses their own needs, desires, opinions, and feelings clearly, directly, and respectfully, while also respecting the rights and feelings of others. They use I statements, like, "I feel frustrated when," instead of, "You make me frustrated." They listen actively, acknowledge other perspectives, and are open to compromise. Their body language is open and confident, making good eye contact. The assertive style communicates, "My needs matter, and so do yours. Let's find a way for us both to be heard and understood." This is the most effective and healthy communication style, as it builds trust, fosters mutual respect, and leads to strong, authentic relationships. It allows for conflict to be managed constructively because both parties feel valued. Now let's turn the mirror on yourself. This isn't about labeling yourself permanently, but about gaining awareness. Think about a recent conversation that didn't go as well as you hoped. Perhaps a disagreement with a family member, a tricky discussion at work, or even a simple misunderstanding with a friend. A simple self-check exercise. 1. Recall the situation. Briefly think about a recent interaction where you felt misunderstood or where communication broke down. To your words, what did you actually say? Were your words direct, blaming, vague, or sarcastic? 3. Your tone. How did your voice sound? Was it loud, soft, calm, accusatory, whining? 4. Your body language. What was your body doing? Were your arms crossed, hands open, eyes darting, shoulders slumped? 5. Your internal feelings. How did you feel during and after the conversation? Frustrated, resentful, angry, unheard, anxious? 6. The other person's reaction. How did they seem to react to you? Did they shut down, get angry, seem confused? Now, looking at your answers, do you see patterns? For example, if you often feel unheard and bottle things up, you might lean towards passive communication. If you frequently find yourself in arguments and people seem to shy away from you, you might have aggressive tendencies. If you often feel misunderstood and others seem confused by your reactions, you might be falling into passive-aggressive patterns. It's also important to consider how your past shapes your present. Our communication styles are often learned. If you grew up in a household where conflict was avoided, you might naturally shy away from direct conversations. If your family communicated loudly and aggressively, you might have learned that as the way to be heard. If you were constantly criticized, you might be hesitant to speak up at all. These are not excuses, but insights. Understanding where your habits come from can help you consciously choose to adopt new, healthier ones. A study published in the journal Communication Monographs highlighted that communication patterns established in childhood often carry into adult relationships, showing how deeply ingrained these habits can be. But the good news is, patterns can be changed with conscious effort and practice. Knowing your communication DNA is the first step, but it's not the destination. It's the starting point for growth. Once you identify your current style, you can begin to make conscious choices to shift towards assertive communication. This doesn't mean you'll never be passive or aggressive again. We are human, and we will sometimes fall back into old habits, especially under stress. The goal is progress, not perfection. The beautiful truth is that you have the power to change your communication DNA. You can rewrite your script. You can choose to respond differently in situations where you previously fell into old patterns. It begins with awareness, then intentional practice, and a little bit of courage to try new ways of interacting. This chapter empowers you to look within, not to judge, but to understand. From this place of understanding, you are ready to build the skills that will transform your connections. Your journey to powerful communication begins with knowing yourself. Embrace this self-discovery. You are the architect of your communication future. Chapter 3. The art of listening, more than just hearing sounds. We often say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, implying that we should listen twice as much as we speak. This old saying holds a profound truth, yet in our fast-paced world, true listening has become a rare and precious skill. Most of us hear sounds, we process words, but we rarely truly listen. Think about the last conversation you had. Were you fully present, or were you already formulating your response, checking your phone, or thinking about your grocery list? If you're honest, like most people, you probably weren't listening with every fiber of your being. The reality is, most people are poor listeners. It's not because they don't care, but often because we're distracted, or we're so focused on what we want to say next that we miss the nuances, the emotions, and the deeper message the other person is trying to convey. Research from the University of Missouri, Columbia indicates that immediately after listening to a 10-minute oral presentation, the average listener remembers only 50% of what was said. After 48 hours, that retention rate drops to a mere 25%. This isn't just about facts and figures. It means we miss out on a significant portion of what people are trying to share with us in everyday conversations. Imagine how many times you've nodded along, pretending to understand, when in reality, you absorbed very little. True listening is active. It's not a passive act of waiting for your turn to speak. It's an intentional, focused effort to understand the other person's message, both spoken and unspoken. It's about giving someone your full presence, your undivided attention, and creating a space where they feel safe and encouraged to share. When you truly listen, you are not just hearing words, you are hearing feelings, intentions, and underlying meanings. This is where real connection begins. Here's how to elevate your listening from simply hearing to actively understanding. These are powerful, actionable techniques you can start using today. 1. Put down your phone and eliminate distractions. This might seem obvious, but it's perhaps the most important foundational step. 2. In a world of constant notifications, our attention spans have shrunk. 3. When you are talking to someone, whether in person or on a video call, make a conscious effort to remove distractions. 4. Put your phone away, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, turn off the TV. 5. Give the person the gift of your undivided attention. 6. When your phone is in your hand, or your eyes are darting to a screen, you're sending a clear message. Something else is more important than you right now. This immediately shuts down true connection. 7. Make a conscious choice to be present. 8. Make appropriate eye contact. Eye contact signals engagement and respect. 9. It shows the other person that you are paying attention and that you are interested in what they are saying. 10. However, this doesn't mean staring them down intensely. 11. That can feel intimidating or creepy. 12. Aim for natural, comfortable eye contact, looking at their eyes for a few seconds, then briefly looking away, then back again. 13. It's about finding a balance that feels genuine and indicates you are present and engaged. 14. If you find yourself looking around the room or avoiding their gaze, it often communicates disinterest or dishonesty. 15. Practice maintaining a comfortable level of eye contact that shows you are truly with them in the conversation. 16. Use non-verbal affirmative sounds and gestures. As the person speaks, show you are following along. 17. Simple nods of your head, brief I see, or aha sounds signal that you are processing what they are saying. 18. These small cues are incredibly powerful. 19. They encourage the speaker to continue, making them feel heard and understood. 20. Imagine telling a story to someone who just sits there expressionless. It's unsettling. 21. But if they're nodding, offering a little sound, you feel validated and encouraged to keep sharing. 22. Your body language can also signal attentiveness, leaning slightly forward, open posture, hands relaxed. 23. These small actions create a welcoming atmosphere for conversation. 24. Practice paraphrasing, reflecting back. This is one of the most powerful active listening techniques. 25. After the other person has finished a thought or explained something, briefly summarize what you heard in your own words. 26. Start with phrases like, "So, if I understand correctly, you're saying," or "It sounds like you're feeling X because of Y." 27. Is that right? This does several things. It confirms your understanding. It gives the speaker a chance to correct you if you misunderstood. It shows the speaker you were truly listening and processing their words, not just waiting for your turn. It helps clarify for both of you. This isn't about repeating their exact words, but capturing the essence of their message. It's a profound way to show empathy and attention. 28. Ask clarifying, open-ended questions. Once you've paraphrased, if there's still something unclear, ask a question to gain more information. 29. Crucially, ask open-ended questions, not just yes or no questions. 30. Instead of, "Did you like it?" ask, "What aspects did you find most enjoyable?" Instead of, "Are you angry?" ask, "Could you tell me more about what led to that feeling?" Open-ended questions invite the speaker to elaborate, to share more details, and to delve deeper into their thoughts and feelings. 31. They communicate genuine curiosity and a desire for true understanding rather than just surface-level information. 32. Resist the urge to interrupt. This is incredibly difficult for many of us, especially if we get excited by an idea or feel we have the perfect solution. 33. But interrupting sends a clear message. My thoughts are more important than yours. It shuts down the speaker and makes them feel unheard and disrespected. 34. Practice letting the other person finish their complete thought, even if there's a pause. 35. Sometimes, after a pause, they might even add something more important they hadn't planned to say. 36. Train yourself to count to 2 or 3 in your head after they seem to have finished, just to ensure they are truly done. 37. This small pause can make a world of difference. 38. Embrace the power of silence. Silence in conversation is not empty. It's often full of meaning. 39. Many people are uncomfortable with silence and feel the need to fill it immediately. 40. But allowing for moments of silence, especially after someone has shared something vulnerable or important, gives them space to collect their thoughts, to feel what they've said, or to add more. 41. It also gives you time to process what you've heard. 42. Don't rush to fill every void. 43. Sometimes, the most powerful response is simply to listen intently and allow the silence to communicate understanding and acceptance. 44. It shows patience and respect. Listening makes people feel valued and understood in a profound way. When someone feels heard, they feel respected, trusted, and cared for. This builds incredible bridges in all your relationships, personal and professional. Think of a time when someone truly listened to you. How did that feel? You probably felt seen, acknowledged, and respected. Now imagine giving that gift to everyone you interact with. Start practicing these techniques in your daily life. Choose one technique each day to focus on. Maybe tomorrow, you'll make it a point to put your phone away during every conversation. The next day, you'll practice paraphrasing. Like building any muscle, consistent effort will lead to incredible strength. Listening isn't just about being polite. It's about connecting on a deeper human level. It's about understanding the world through someone else's eyes. And that understanding is the foundation for all meaningful communication. Empower yourself to truly hear. Your connections will flourish. Chapter 4. Beyond Words. The silent language of nonverbal cues. Imagine a conversation where the other person tells you they are perfectly fine, but their shoulders are slumped, their eyes are downcast, and their voice is barely a whisper. Which message would you believe? The words or the unspoken signals? More often than not, it's the silent signals that hold the true meaning. Our bodies and our voices speak a language far older and often more honest than our words. This silent language is called nonverbal communication, and understanding it is absolutely essential to truly connecting with others. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it, and what your body is doing while you're saying it. Decades ago, a psychologist named Dr. Albert Mehrabian conducted studies that famously suggested a breakdown of communication: 7% words, 38% tone of voice, and 55% body language. While this specific percentage breakdown is often oversimplified and applies most accurately when conveying feelings and attitudes, the core principle is undeniably true. Nonverbal cues contribute far more to how we are perceived and understood than the actual words we use, especially when our words and nonverbals contradict each other. When your words don't match your body, people tend to trust your body language more. Think about it. A simple shrug can convey indifference. A clenched jaw can signal anger. A warm smile can instantly put someone at ease. These are universal signals that bypass words and speak directly to our instincts. Learning to both read these cues in others and manage your own non-verbal messages will dramatically improve your ability to communicate effectively and build deeper connections. Let's break down the silent language, body language basics. Your body is constantly sending messages, even when you're trying to hide something. Being aware of these signals, both yours and others, is a powerful tool. 1. Posture. How you hold your body says a lot. An open posture, like uncrossed arms and hands visible, usually signals openness, acceptance, and a willingness to engage. You appear approachable and honest. A closed posture, such as crossed arms, hunched shoulders, or turning your body away, often indicates defensiveness, discomfort, or disinterest. You appear guarded and unapproachable. How to use this? If you want to encourage someone to open up, adopt an open posture yourself. If you're feeling defensive, consciously try to uncross your arms and relax your shoulders. To show confidence and engagement, stand or sit tall with your shoulders back and your chest open. This doesn't just make you look confident, it can actually make you feel more confident. Studies have shown that power poses can reduce stress hormones and increase feelings of self-assurance. 2. Gestures. What you do with your hands and arms. Meaningful gestures can enhance your message, adding emphasis and clarity. For example, counting on your fingers when listing points, or using your hands to describe size or shape. These gestures help clarify your words and make you seem more engaging. However, too many gestures or nervous habits like fidgeting, nail-biting, or touching your face excessively can be distracting and signal anxiety or dishonesty. How to use this? Use your hands naturally to emphasize points. Practice speaking in front of a mirror or record yourself to see what your hands are doing. Are they reinforcing your message or distracting from it? Aim for purposeful, open gestures that align with your words. Keep your hands visible, as hiding them can sometimes be perceived as having something to conceal. 3. Eye contact. The window to the soul and to communication. We discussed eye contact briefly in the listening chapter, but it bears repeating because of its immense importance in non-verbal communication. Direct eye contact usually conveys honesty, confidence, interest, and trustworthiness. When someone avoids your gaze, it can signal discomfort, shyness, dishonesty, or disinterest. However, cultural differences are crucial here. In some cultures, prolonged direct eye contact can be seen as aggressive or disrespectful. In most Western cultures, a balanced amount of eye contact is expected. How to use this? Aim for a comfortable balance. Look at the person's eyes when they are speaking to show you are listening, and when you are speaking to show sincerity. Break eye contact occasionally to avoid staring. If you're talking to a group, spread your gaze around, making eye contact with different individuals to include everyone. If you find yourself consistently avoiding eye contact, practice holding it for slightly longer periods in casual conversations until it feels more natural. 4. Facial expressions. The universal signals of emotion. Your face is incredibly expressive. Smiles, frowns, raised eyebrows, narrowed eyes. These are universal signals that communicate happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, fear, and disgust. We often read someone's emotional state from their face before they even utter a word. Micro-expressions are fleeting facial expressions that last only a fraction of a second, often revealing true emotions that a person might be trying to hide. While detecting micro-expressions requires significant training, simply being more observant of basic facial cues can tell you a lot. How to use this? Be aware of your own expressions. Does your face match your words? If you're saying, "I'm fine," but your face looks distressed, you're sending mixed signals. Practice smiling genuinely when you want to convey warmth and friendliness. Learn to observe others' facial expressions for clues about their true feelings. If someone's face looks tense while they are speaking, it might tell you they are feeling stressed, even if their words don't directly say so. This awareness allows you to respond with greater empathy. Tone of voice. Beyond the words themselves, the way you speak carries immense weight. Your tone of voice can completely alter the meaning of a sentence. Consider the simple phrase, "Oh, great." Said with enthusiasm, it conveys genuine happiness. Said with sarcasm, it conveys the exact opposite. 1. Pitch. How high or low your voice sounds. A higher pitch can indicate excitement, nervousness, or sometimes a question. A lower pitch often conveys calmness, authority, or seriousness. How to use this? Vary your pitch to keep your listener engaged. A monotonous flat pitch can make you sound bored or uninteresting. When you want to convey sincerity or seriousness, a slightly lower, steadier pitch can be effective. When showing excitement, allow your pitch to rise naturally. 2. Volume. How loud or soft you speak. Speaking too loudly can be perceived as aggressive or overbearing. Speaking too softly can make you seem unconfident, timid, or difficult to hear, leading to frustration for your listener. How to use this? Adjust your volume to the situation. In a quiet one-on-one conversation, a soft, conversational volume is appropriate. In a group setting or presentation, you may need to project your voice more. The key is to be audible and clear without shouting. Confidence is often projected through a clear, moderate volume. 3. Pace. How fast or slow you speak. Speaking too quickly can make you sound nervous, rushed, or like you're trying to get rid of the other person. It can also make it difficult for others to follow your thoughts. Speaking too slowly can make you sound uncertain, bored, or condescending. How to use this? Aim for a moderate pace that allows for natural pauses. Vary your pace to add emphasis. Slow down for important points Speed up slightly for less crucial details. When you're nervous, we often speak faster, so take a conscious breath and slow yourself down. A measured pace often conveys thoughtfulness and confidence, reading others' cues and adjusting your own. The true power of understanding non-verbal communication comes from using it to both interpret others and to manage your own message. When you're talking to someone, pay attention to their non-verbal cues. Are they leaning in or pulling away? Are their arms crossed or open? Is their facial expression consistent with their words? Are they fidgeting? These observations give you valuable feedback. If you notice signs of discomfort or disengagement, you might need to adjust your approach. Perhaps you're talking too much, or on a topic they're not interested in, or you're coming across as too aggressive. Your ability to read these signals and adapt is a hallmark of truly skilled communicators. For example, if you are explaining a complex idea at work and you notice your colleague has furrowed brows and a slightly puzzled expression, even if they say, "Yes, I understand," their face is telling a different story. This is your cue to say, "I see a little confusion there. Would you like me to go over that again? Or do you have any questions?" This shows you're observant and genuinely want to be understood. Conversely, think about how your own non-verbals align with your words. This is called congruence. When your verbal and non-verbal messages match, you appear authentic, trustworthy, and believable. When they don't, people become confused or suspicious, even if they can't pinpoint why. A study from the University of California, Berkeley, found that when a speaker's non-verbal cues contradicted their verbal message, listeners placed more weight on the non-verbal cues. This emphasizes how crucial it is for your body and voice to tell the same story as your words. How to practice this? 1. Observe. Don't assume. When you notice someone's body language, don't immediately jump to conclusions. For example, crossed arms don't always mean defensiveness. Sometimes it's just comfortable. Use it as a clue, a signal to be more curious and gather more information. You look thoughtful. What are you thinking? 2. Practice in low-stakes situations. While watching a TV show or movie, mute the sound and try to guess what emotions the characters are feeling just by their body language and facial expressions. This helps train your observational skills. 3. Record yourself. This can feel awkward at first, but recording yourself speaking, even just on your phone, and then watching it back can be incredibly insightful. You'll see your posture, gestures, eye contact, and hear your tone and pace. You might be surprised by what you discover about your own non-verbal habits. This is a powerful way to become more self-aware and make intentional improvements. 4. Ask for feedback. Ask a trusted friend or colleague, "How do I come across when I'm explaining something important?" Or, "Do I appear confident when I'm speaking?" Their honest feedback can be invaluable. Mastering the silent language is a game changer. It allows you to connect on a deeper, more intuitive level, to pick up on hidden cues, and to ensure that your own message is received exactly as you intend. It adds incredible depth and richness to every interaction. Your body and voice are powerful communication tools. Learn to wield them wisely, and you will unlock new levels of connection. Chapter 5. The Empathy Compass, Walking a Mile in Their Shoes. Imagine navigating a dense forest without a compass. You might wander aimlessly, get lost, or even become frustrated and give up. In the landscape of human connection, empathy is your compass. It's the ability to truly understand and share the feelings of another, to walk a mile in their shoes. Without empathy, our conversations can remain superficial, our advice can fall flat, and our relationships can feel hollow. With empathy, we build profound bridges, foster deep trust, and connect on a soul level. It's crucial to understand the difference between empathy and sympathy, as they are often confused. Sympathy is feeling for someone. It's a feeling of pity or sorrow for someone else's misfortune. For example, if your friend tells you their dog passed away, sympathy sounds like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's really sad." It acknowledges their pain from an outside perspective. Empathy, on the other hand, is feeling with someone. It's the ability to understand and even share the feelings of another, to put yourself in their emotional space. Using the same example, empathy would sound like, "I can only imagine how heartbroken you must be right now." Losing a pet is like losing a family member. It must feel incredibly painful. Notice the difference? Empathy tries to step into their world, to grasp their experience from their point of view. It's about understanding, not just pitying. The science behind empathy is fascinating. Our brains have what are called mirror neurons. These are special brain cells that activate both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing the same action. They are also believed to play a role in how we experience and understand emotions in others. When you see someone smile, your mirror neurons might fire as if you were smiling yourself, allowing you to intuitively grasp their joy. When you see someone in pain, these neurons can help you register their suffering. This is the biological foundation for our capacity to connect with others' experiences. While not a complete explanation of empathy, it highlights our innate capacity for it. Why is empathy such a powerful force in communication? First, it builds incredible connection and trust. When you genuinely try to understand someone's perspective, they feel seen, valued, and respected. This fosters a deep sense of trust. People are more likely to open up to you, to be honest, and to feel safe in your presence when they know you are making an effort to understand their world, even if you don't agree with it. Second, empathy disarms conflict. So much conflict arises from misunderstanding. When you empathize, you're not necessarily agreeing with the other person's actions or opinions, but you are acknowledging their feelings and perspective. This validation often calms down intense emotions, creates an opening for dialogue, and makes finding a resolution much easier. It shifts the dynamic from me versus you to us versus the problem. Cultivating empathy is not about being weak or letting others walk all over you. It's a strength that allows you to navigate complex human interactions with wisdom and grace. It's a skill that can be developed and strengthened with conscious effort. Here's how to cultivate your empathy compass. 1. Ask open-ended questions that invite deeper sharing. Instead of asking, "Are you okay?" which often leads to a simple yes, try asking questions that invite more detail and emotion. How are you truly feeling about that? What was that experience like for you? What were your thoughts when that happened? What's the hardest part about this situation for you? These questions signal that you're interested in more than a surface-level answer. They encourage the other person to share their inner world, providing you with the material you need to practice empathy. For example, instead of asking a friend, "Did you finish the project?" ask, "How was it getting that project done? Was it challenging?" This opens the door to them sharing their struggles or triumphs, which you can then empathize with. 2. Practice perspective taking. Actively imagine yourself in their situation. This is the heart of walking a mile in their shoes. When someone shares a problem or a feeling, try to mentally step into their situation. What would it feel like if you were in their exact circumstances? What would you be thinking? What emotions might you experience? Consider all the factors: their history, their personality, their current challenges, their values. You don't have to agree with their choices or feel the exact same way, but the exercise is about understanding why they might feel or act the way they do. For example, if a colleague is stressed about a deadline, don't just dismiss it. Imagine the pressure they're under, the consequences of failure, the personal sacrifices they might be making. This mental exercise helps you connect with their emotional state. 3. Validate their feelings. Validation is the act of acknowledging and accepting another person's emotions as understandable, even if you don't agree with the reasons for those emotions. You don't have to say, "You're right to feel that way," but rather, "I can see why you'd feel that way." Phrases for validating feelings. That sounds incredibly frustrating. I can understand why you'd be upset. It makes sense that you'd feel overwhelmed. That must have been really tough for you. I hear how much that means to you. When you validate someone's feelings, you are essentially saying, I hear you. I see your pain or joy or anger. Your feelings are real and legitimate. This is incredibly powerful. It makes people feel less alone and more understood. It doesn't mean you have to solve their problem or even agree with their perspective, just that you acknowledge their emotional experience. Research from Dr. Brené Brown, a leading expert on vulnerability and connection, emphasizes that true empathy is about connecting with people's feelings, not just their experiences. It's a skill that requires putting yourself in someone else's shoes, feeling with them, and communicating that you understand without judgment. 4. Listen without judgment. This goes hand in hand with active listening. When you're listening with the intent to empathize, you must suspend judgment. This means putting aside your own opinions, biases, and desires to fix the situation. Your goal is simply to understand. It's not about, that's a silly way to feel. It's about, tell me more about why you feel that way. Judgment creates walls. Empathy breaks them down. When people feel judged, they shut down. When they feel accepted, they open up. This requires mental discipline to quiet your own internal commentary and focus solely on what the other person is sharing. 5. Put aside your own agenda, temporarily. When someone is sharing something deeply personal or challenging, your first instinct might be to offer advice, to tell your own similar story, or to minimize their pain. While these intentions might come from a good place, they often derail empathy. For true empathy, your agenda should be understanding, not fixing. Save your advice for later, and only offer it if it's explicitly requested. Your story, while possibly relatable, can shift the focus from their experience to yours. And minimizing their pain, it's not that bad, invalidates their feelings. For those moments of deep listening, your job is simply to be present, to listen, and to connect with their emotional state. Empathy is a choice. It's a conscious decision to step outside of your own head and into someone else's heart. It requires courage, because it means opening yourself up to the emotions of others, which can sometimes be uncomfortable. But the rewards are immense. When you become an empathetic communicator, you become a source of comfort, understanding, and strength for those around you. You build relationships that are not just strong, but resilient, because they are built on a foundation of true connection and mutual understanding. Start practicing empathy in your daily life. The next time someone shares a struggle, resist the urge to jump in with advice. Instead, ask a deeper question. Validate their feelings. Just listen. You will be amazed at how much closer you feel to that person and how much more they will trust you with their true self. This is the compass that guides you to deeper, more meaningful human connection. Chapter 6. Speaking clearly. Making your words count. Think about a time you tried to follow unclear instructions, or when someone spoke in vague terms, leaving you confused and frustrated. Perhaps you've been on the receiving end of a rambling explanation that never quite got to the point. Clarity in communication is not just a polite courtesy. It's a profound gift you give to others. When you speak clearly, you prevent misunderstandings, you save time, you build trust, and you ensure your message is received exactly as you intend. Without clarity, even the best intentions can lead to chaos. If you're vague, expect confusion. If you don't articulate your needs or thoughts precisely, you leave room for interpretation, and people will often fill in the blanks with their own assumptions, which may be entirely wrong. This leads to wasted effort, missed deadlines, damaged relationships, and endless frustration. In fact, a study by the Project Management Institute found that poor communication is a primary contributor to project failure, often due to unclear objectives or expectations. On a personal level, How many arguments have started because one person thought they were saying one thing and the other person heard something entirely different? Making your words count means speaking with intention and precision. It means ensuring your listener can easily grasp your meaning without having to guess or ask for endless clarification. It's about being effective, not just articulate. Here are actionable tips for speaking clearly and making every word count. 1. Be concise. Get to the point. In our busy world, people appreciate directness. Avoid rambling using unnecessary filler words, like, you know, or taking a scenic route to your main message. Before you speak, mentally or even physically for complex topics, outline your core message. What's the one thing you absolutely want them to understand or do? State that up front, then provide supporting details. Example of rambling. So I was thinking, and I know this might be a bit out there, but like for the meeting on Friday, maybe we could, try to consider if we should maybe update the presentation slides because I saw some numbers and they seemed a little off. Not that it's a huge deal, but just a thought. Concise version. For Friday's meeting, I recommend we update the presentation slides. Some of the latest numbers seem inaccurate, and I want to ensure we're presenting the most current data. See the difference? One is easy to follow, the other requires effort to decode. Practice cutting out unnecessary words and getting straight to your point. This conveys confidence and respect for the listener's time. 2. Use simple language. Avoid jargon and overly complex sentences. Unless you are speaking to a highly specialized audience who understands your industry jargon, use plain, everyday language. Big words and technical terms can make you sound impressive, but they can also create a barrier if your listener doesn't understand them. The goal is communication, not showing off your vocabulary. Think about who you are talking to. If you're explaining a new policy at work, simplify the legal or technical terms. If you're talking to a family member about a medical issue, use common terms rather than medical jargon. Example: instead of, "We need to optimize our synergistic core competencies to facilitate robust structural integration," say, "We need to make our teams work better together to improve overall efficiency." Simplicity is a sign of clarity, not a lack of intelligence. Albert Einstein famously said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." Strive for simplicity. 3. Use I statements. Take ownership of your feelings. This is a cornerstone of assertive communication and prevents conversations from devolving into blame. When you use you statements, "You always make me feel X," "You never listen," it sounds accusatory and puts the other person on the defensive. Their immediate reaction will be to defend themselves, not to hear your message. I statements, on the other hand, express your feelings and experiences without assigning blame. They allow you to communicate your needs and emotions in a way that encourages understanding and resolution. The formula for an effective I statement is, "I feel emotion when specific behavior happens because impact on you, your needs." Examples: instead of, "You never help with the chores, I'm so angry," blaming. Try, "I feel overwhelmed and frustrated when the chores aren't shared because it means I have less time for my own tasks." Empowering. Instead of, "You're always interrupting me in meetings," accusatory. Try, "I feel unheard when I'm interrupted during meetings because it breaks my train of thought and makes it hard to contribute effectively." Direct and clear. Instead of, "You made me late," blaming. Try, "I feel anxious when we leave so close to the appointment time because I worry about being late." Focuses on your feeling and concern. Using I statements shifts the focus from judging the other person's character to describing how their actions affect you. This invites empathy and a willingness to find a solution rather than defensiveness. It empowers you to express your truth respectfully. 4. Structure your message. Have a simple beginning, middle, and end. Even for everyday conversations, having a mental structure helps you stay on track and ensures your listener can follow your thoughts. Think of it like telling a mini story or giving a brief presentation. A simple structure could be 1. State your purpose, main point. I wanted to talk about, or my main idea is. 2. Provide context on details, reasons. Explain why you're saying this, or give the necessary background. 3. Call to action, desired outcome. What do you want to happen next? What's your suggestion? Example for a work request. 4. I'm calling about the report due on Friday. Purpose 5. I've hit a roadblock with the data analysis. 6. I'm missing the Q3 sales figures, and without them, I can't complete the projections accurately. Context, details. 7. Could you help me get access to those figures, or tell me who I should contact to get them as soon as possible? Desired outcome, call to action. This structured approach ensures clarity and reduces the chance of misinterpretation. 8. It makes it easy for the other person to understand what you need and how they can help. 5. Check for understanding. Confirm your message landed. Just because you've spoken clearly doesn't mean your message was understood exactly as you intended. People interpret things through their own filters. A crucial step for clear communication is to check if your message has been received accurately. Phrases for checking understanding. Does that make sense? Could you tell me what you heard? Especially useful for complex instructions or agreements. Do you have any questions about that? Am I being clear? So, just to recap, what are your next steps? Asking, do you have any questions, is good, but could you tell me what you heard, is even better because it forces them to articulate their understanding, which quickly reveals any misinterpretations. This is not about condescension. It's about collaboration and ensuring alignment. It shows that you value clear communication and want to avoid errors. 6. Think before you speak. The power of the pause. In the heat of a moment or when we're excited, we can blurt out things we later regret or that are unclear. Cultivate the habit of a brief pause before responding, especially in important or emotional conversations. This allows you to formulate your thoughts more clearly, choose your words wisely, ensure your tone is appropriate. Consider the impact of your words on the listener. A moment of silence is far better than a torrent of unclear or regrettable words. This pause demonstrates thoughtfulness and control. It shows you respect the conversation and the other person enough to carefully consider your response. Speaking clearly isn't about being perfect every time. It's about making a conscious effort to deliver your message in the most understandable, impactful, and respectful way possible. It builds confidence in yourself, and it builds trust with others. When you speak clearly, you empower yourself to be heard, and you empower others to understand you fully. This fundamental skill is the bridge from intention to understanding, ensuring your words truly count in every interaction. Start today by choosing to be concise, to use I statements, and to always check for understanding. Your clarity will illuminate your path to deeper connection. Chapter 7. Navigating tough waters, communicating through conflict. The very word can make us tense up, our hearts race, and our palms sweat. Many of us have been taught to avoid conflict at all costs, believing that a truly harmonious relationship is one where disagreements never arise. But this belief is fundamentally flawed. Conflict is not bad. In fact, it is an inevitable and often necessary part of any healthy relationship, whether personal or professional. It is through navigating differences that we grow, learn, and deepen our understanding of ourselves and others. The problem isn't the conflict itself. It's how we choose to communicate, or fail to communicate, through it. Unresolved conflict is like a festering wound. It drains energy, creates resentment, and slowly erodes trust. It leads to passive-aggressive behaviors, silent treatments, and eventually, breakdown in relationships. For example, studies on workplace dynamics often show that unresolved conflicts lead to decreased productivity, higher employee turnover, and a toxic work environment. On a personal level, long-term unresolved disagreements are a leading cause of stress and can significantly contribute to the breakdown of friendships and romantic partnerships. You know that heavy feeling in your stomach when something is left unsaid, or when a disagreement blows up into a shouting match that leaves both parties hurt. That's the consequence of poorly managed conflict. But here's the empowering truth. Conflict, when approached with the right communication skills, can be an opportunity for incredible growth and deeper connection. It's a chance to clarify misunderstandings, express needs that weren't being met, and strengthen bonds through honest, even difficult conversations. Imagine disagreements that end with both parties feeling understood and closer, rather than distant and resentful. That is the goal of communicating through conflict. Don't avoid it. Ignoring problems makes them grow bigger, like a small crack in a wall that eventually causes the entire structure to crumble. Avoiding difficult conversations might feel comfortable in the short term, but it builds a wall of unspoken resentments that will eventually become insurmountable. Be brave. Your relationships are worth the discomfort of a necessary difficult conversation. Here are strategies for navigating tough conversations and communicating through conflict in a healthy, constructive way. 1. Stay calm and choose your timing. When emotions run high, our logical brains often shut down. We might say things we don't mean or react defensively. The very first step in conflict communication is to try and regulate your own emotions. How to stay calm? Take a deep breath, seriously. A few slow, deep breaths can calm your nervous system. Count to 10 before responding, or even 20. This pause gives your brain a chance to catch up and allows you to choose a thoughtful response instead of a reactive one. Step away if needed. If the conversation is becoming too heated or overwhelming, it's perfectly okay to say, "I need a few minutes to cool down. Can we revisit this in specific time, e.g. 30 minutes, an hour tomorrow morning?" This isn't avoidance, it's responsible communication. But make sure you do revisit it. How to choose your timing. Don't bring up a difficult topic when one or both of you are hungry, exhausted, stressed from other things, or in a public place. Choose a time and place where you can both give the conversation your full, calm attention without distractions. A quiet evening at home, when you're both relaxed, is usually better than rushing into it while getting ready for work. 2. Focus on the issue, not the person. This is perhaps the most critical rule in conflict resolution. When we attack the person, "You're so irresponsible, you always do X," the other person immediately feels attacked and will become defensive. The conversation then shifts from solving a problem to defending one's character, and nothing gets resolved. Instead, focus on the specific behavior or situation that is causing the problem. Example: instead of "You're so lazy, you never clean up your mess," attacking the person, try, "I'm feeling frustrated about the dishes left in the sink. It makes the kitchen feel messy and I don't like coming home to it." Focusing on the issue, behavior, and its impact, use I statements as discussed in the previous chapter. They are invaluable here because they allow you to express your feelings and needs without blaming. Remember, attack the problem, not the person. This keeps the conversation constructive and reduces defensiveness. 3. Listen actively and empathetically. Even in conflict, listening remains your most powerful tool. Before you rush to defend your point of view, truly listen to the other person's perspective. What are they feeling? What are their concerns? What are their needs? Use the active listening skills we discussed, paraphrasing what you heard, asking clarifying questions, and validating their feelings. I can see why you'd be frustrated about that. Empathy is crucial here. Try to understand why they might be reacting the way they are. Perhaps they've had a bad day, or they're under unusual stress. or they have a past experience that colors their current reaction. You don't have to agree with their actions, but understanding their perspective can help you respond more effectively. An effective communicator listens to understand, not just to reply, especially when emotions are high. 4. Find common ground. In almost every conflict, there's some shared goal or underlying desire. Look for it. Do you both want a peaceful home, a successful project, a stronger relationship? Reminding yourselves of this shared objective can help you work together towards a solution, rather than against each other. Example: if you're arguing with your partner about money, the common ground might be that you both want financial security or to save for a future goal. Focusing on this shared desire can help you brainstorm solutions together. We both want to feel secure financially, so how can we work together to manage our spending this month? This shifts the conversation from blaming to collaborating. 5. Be willing to compromise. Conflict resolution is rarely about one person winning and the other losing. Healthy resolution often involves compromise, where both parties give a little to find a solution that works for everyone. This means being flexible and open to alternatives. It might mean you don't get exactly what you want, but you get something important, and so does the other person. This is about finding a win-win whenever possible, or at least a win-some, lose-some that feels fair. How to compromise. Brainstorm multiple solutions together. Be open to ideas that aren't your own. Ask, what would work for both of us? Or, what's a solution we can both live with? Sometimes, the best solution is one neither of you had thought of alone. 6. Know when to agree to disagree. Not every conflict has a clear resolution, especially when it comes to deeply held beliefs or preferences. Sometimes the best outcome is to respectfully agree that you have different perspectives and move on, without holding a grudge or continuously trying to convince the other person. This doesn't mean ignoring the issue forever, but rather acknowledging that for this particular point, you won't reach full agreement. It's about respecting boundaries and accepting that complete alignment isn't always possible or necessary for a relationship to thrive. If you've genuinely tried to understand each other and no common ground or compromise is possible, sometimes the healthiest thing is to say, "It seems we see this differently, and that's okay. Let's agree to respect our different views and move forward." This prevents endless, unproductive arguments. 7. Focus on solving the problem, not being right. Ego often fuels conflict. We want to be right to prove our point, to win the argument. But in relationships, if one person wins, the relationship often loses. The goal of conflict communication is to find a solution to the problem or to achieve mutual understanding, not to emerge as the victor. Let go of the need to be right and focus on what needs to happen to move forward. This shift in mindset is incredibly liberating and makes conflict resolution far more productive. Navigating tough waters requires courage, patience, and a willingness to be vulnerable. It means being honest about your needs while respecting the needs of others. It's a skill that takes practice, and you won't always get it right. There will be times you lose your temper or say something you regret. But each of those moments is a learning opportunity. Every time you choose to communicate through conflict rather than avoiding it or letting it escalate destructively, you are strengthening your relationships and building resilience. You are showing those around you that your connection is strong enough to withstand disagreement, and that you value understanding and resolution over silence or hostility. Embrace these challenging conversations. They are the forge where true connection is tempered and strengthened. You have the power to transform conflict into an opportunity for growth and deeper love. Chapter 8. The feedback loop, giving and receiving gracefully. Imagine trying to drive a car blindfolded. You might eventually get somewhere, but you'd probably hit a few bumps, take wrong turns, and definitely won't be performing at your best. Feedback is like opening your eyes and getting a map. It's information about how you're doing, how your actions are perceived, and how you can improve. In the world of communication and connection, Feedback is an absolute gift. It's how we learn, grow, and build stronger, more effective relationships, both personally and professionally. Yet for many, the word feedback triggers anxiety, defensiveness, or a desire to run and hide. Why is feedback so often dreaded? Because it can feel like criticism, like judgment, or like an attack on our worth. We often associate it with negative experiences from our past. But when given and received gracefully, feedback is one of the most powerful tools for personal and relational development. It allows us to course correct, to clarify intentions, and to see blind spots we might not be aware of. For example, a study by leadership development firm Zenger Folkman found that employees who received regular feedback were significantly more engaged and productive than those who did not. On a personal level, think about how much clearer your relationship with a friend or partner becomes when you both feel safe to share honest feedback about how you're feeling. This chapter will teach you how to give feedback in a way that is constructive and helpful, and how to receive it in a way that allows you to learn and grow rather than shutting down. Giving feedback effectively. Giving feedback isn't about being mean or tearing someone down. It's about helping someone improve or become aware of something. The goal is always to be helpful, even if the message is difficult to hear. 1. Be specific. Focus on observable behavior, not generalities. This is paramount. Vague feedback is useless and often feels like an attack on someone's character. Instead of saying, "You're always messy," which is a generalization and sounds like a judgment, describe the specific action or behavior. Example, instead of, "You're bad at presentations," try, "In your presentation yesterday, when you spoke very quickly during the Q&A, I noticed some people in the audience seemed to struggle to follow your answers." Specific behavior. Instead of, "You're not a team player," try, "During last week's team meeting, when you didn't share your progress updates, it made it difficult for the rest of us to align our tasks." Specific behavior. The more specific you are, the easier it is for the person to understand what they need to change. It removes ambiguity and makes the feedback actionable. 2. Focus on behavior, not personality or character. You can't change who someone is, but they can change what they do. Feedback should always target actions and behaviors, not inherent traits. This avoids making the person feel attacked and instead focuses on something within their control to adjust. Example, instead of, "You are unprofessional," attacking character. Try, "When you arrived late to the client meeting and weren't prepared, it gave an unprofessional impression to the client." Focus on behavior and its impact. This empowers the person to change the behavior rather than feeling like they are inherently flawed. 3. Make it timely. Feedback is most effective when it's given as soon as possible after the event or behavior occurs. The closer the feedback is to the action, the clearer the connection between the two, and the easier it is for the person to recall the situation. Don't let issues fester for weeks or months. This builds resentment and makes the feedback feel like an old grudge. If you wait too long, the person might not even remember the situation you're referring to. However, if emotions are running high, yours or theirs, it's better to wait until you're both calm before giving the feedback. Timely doesn't mean immediate, if immediate means angry or impulsive. 4. Do it in private. Never shame someone publicly. Constructive feedback, especially if it's corrective, should always be delivered in private. Public feedback, even with good intentions, can feel like public shaming and can cause deep embarrassment and resentment. It immediately puts the person on the defensive and damages their trust in you. A quick, private conversation shows respect for the individual and their dignity. It creates a safer space for them to truly hear what you're saying. If it's positive feedback, that's often great to give publicly to celebrate and reinforce good behavior. But anything that could be perceived as negative should be private. 5. The Situation Behavior Impact (SBI) model. This is a simple, powerful framework for giving feedback. Situation: describe the specific time or context. Yesterday, during the team meeting. Behavior: describe the specific action or words. When you interrupted Sarah 3 times. Impact: explain the effect the behavior had. It made her look visibly uncomfortable, and I noticed others in the room seemed to disengage, and it also made it harder for her to finish her point. This model keeps your feedback objective, focused on behavior, and highlights the consequences, making it easier for the person to understand why the feedback is important. 6. Offer solutions or a way forward, if appropriate. Once you've given the feedback, consider if there's a practical suggestion or a way forward. This isn't always necessary, but it can be helpful. Perhaps next time you could wait until there's a pause before jumping in. Or, what are your thoughts on how we could prevent this from happening again? The goal is improvement, not just pointing out flaws. Receiving feedback like a pro. Receiving feedback gracefully is a powerful act of maturity and a crucial skill for growth. It shows humility, a willingness to learn, and confidence in your ability to improve. 1. Listen actively. Don't interrupt or get defensive. Your first instinct might be to explain, to justify, or to argue. Resist this urge. Your primary job when receiving feedback is to listen. Let the person finish completely. Remember all those active listening skills? Now is the time to use them. Even if you disagree with what's being said, listen without interruption. If you interrupt, you send the message that you're not open to hearing them, and you might miss important information. Defensiveness immediately shuts down the conversation and makes it less likely that the person will give you honest feedback in the future. 2. Thank them. No matter how difficult the feedback is to hear, thank the person for sharing it. It takes courage to give honest feedback, especially if it's corrective. A simple, "Thank you for sharing that with me," or "I appreciate you bringing this to my attention," shows maturity and signals that you are open to their input. It acknowledges their effort and courage. This is a powerful habit that encourages more honest communication in the future. 3. Ask clarifying questions. Once they've finished, if something is unclear, ask questions to better understand. This is not for arguing your point, but for gaining clarity. Can you give me a specific example of what you're referring to? When you say X, what exactly does that mean? What was the impact you observed? This demonstrates that you're taking their feedback seriously and want to understand it fully. It shows you're engaged in learning, not just dismissing. 4. Reflect and take time to process. You don't have to agree with the feedback immediately, nor do you have to act on it right away. It's perfectly fine to say thank you. I need some time to think about what you've said, or I'll reflect on this and get back to you if I have any further questions. This allows you to process the information without reacting impulsively. You can consider whether the feedback resonates with you, if it's a pattern you've seen before, or if it aligns with your own self-assessment. Take the emotion out of it as much as possible and look at the facts. 5. Decide how to act or not act. Not all feedback is equally valid or actionable. After reflecting, you decide what to do with the information. Do you agree with it? If so, what steps will you take to address it? Do you partially agree? How can you incorporate the valid parts? Do you disagree? Why? If you disagree strongly, and it's a recurring theme, it might be worth having a follow-up conversation to share your perspective calmly, without defensiveness. But remember, the feedback is about their perception, which is always valid even if you don't agree with their conclusion. The important thing is to consciously decide how you will respond, rather than just ignoring it or reacting negatively. Feedback is a continuous loop. The more effectively you give it, the more likely you are to receive it in return. And the more gracefully you receive it, the more people will trust you with their honest observations. This cycle of honest communication is vital for all relationships to grow and thrive. It allows you to refine your communication skills, overcome blind spots, and become the best version of yourself, always learning, always improving. Embrace feedback as a pathway to continuous growth. You are capable of handling hard truths and turning them into powerful strides forward. Chapter 9. Connecting in the digital age. Text, email, and video calls. In today's world, our communication is no longer limited to face-to-face conversations or phone calls. We live in a digital age, constantly sending emails, firing off texts, and hopping onto video calls. These tools have made us more connected than ever, spanning distances and time zones. However, they also present unique communication challenges. The biggest one? The loss of non-verbal cues. When you send a text or an email, there's no tone of voice, no facial expression, no body language to clarify your meaning. This absence can easily lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and a feeling of disconnect, even while being connected. Think about it. A seemingly harmless text message, without the context of a smile or a light tone, can be read as sarcastic or dismissive. An email meant to be direct can come across as cold or demanding. A video call where someone is distracted can feel incredibly disrespectful. These digital tools are powerful, but they require a different kind of communication discipline to ensure your message is clear and your connection remains strong. Let's explore how to navigate the digital landscape with intention and clarity. Email etiquette, the professional standard. Email remains a primary form of communication in the professional world, and often in personal relationships too. Mastering it shows professionalism and respect. 1. Clear, concise subject lines. The subject line is like the headline of your email. It should immediately tell the recipient what the email is about and whether it requires urgent attention. This helps them prioritize and quickly understand your purpose. Example: instead of "hey" or "question," try "meeting agenda for Thursday, action required," or "follow up on Project X, your feedback needed." A clear subject line shows respect for the recipient's time and inbox management. 2. Be concise and get to the point. Just like in verbal communication, rambling emails are often skimmed or ignored. Respect your reader's time by getting straight to the core message. If you have multiple points, consider using bullet points for readability. Keep paragraphs short and break up large blocks of text. No one wants to read a wall of text on a screen. A good rule: can you convey your message in fewer words? If so, do it. 3. Proofread. Typos undermine credibility. Spelling errors, grammatical mistakes, and awkward phrasing can make you look careless, unprofessional, and can even confuse your message. Before you hit send, take an extra minute to proofread. Reading your email aloud can help you catch errors and awkward phrasing. This is especially crucial for important emails, job applications, or communication with clients. Your attention to detail in your writing reflects on your overall professionalism. 4. Consider your tone and use emojis sparingly, if at all. Without tone of voice, it's easy for your written words to be misinterpreted. A direct statement can sound harsh, or a humorous remark can fall flat. Try to reread your email from the perspective of the recipient. Does it sound respectful, clear, and professional? If you're unsure, slightly soften your language. In professional emails, avoid emojis unless you have an established, informal relationship with the recipient. In personal emails or texts, emojis can help convey emotion and prevent misinterpretation, but still use them judiciously. 5. When to hit reply all and when not to. The reply all button is powerful and often misused. Only use it when your response is relevant to everyone on the original email chain. If your reply is only for the sender or for a specific subset of people, reply only to them. Unnecessary reply alls clutter inboxes and annoy recipients. Be mindful and ask yourself, does everyone on this list really need to see this? Texting, brevity and urgency. Texting is for quick, immediate communication. It's generally less formal than email. 1. Brevity is key. Texts are meant to be short and to the point. If you have a long message or a complex topic, consider if a text is the right medium, or if a call or email would be better. Avoid sending multiple consecutive texts if one longer message would suffice, as this can be annoying for the recipient. 2. Be mindful of tone. Emojis can help, but aren't always professional. As mentioned with email, tone is hard to convey in text. Emojis can sometimes help add emotional context, a smiley face to indicate friendliness, for example. However, know your audience. If it's a professional contact, a simple thanks is usually better than thanks. Also, be aware that excessive use of emojis can make your message seem less serious or professional. 3. Is this message urgent enough for a text? Texts imply immediacy. Don't text about non-urgent matters late at night or early in the morning unless it's an emergency. Respect people's personal time. For non-urgent requests or detailed information, email or a phone call is usually more appropriate. A good rule of thumb: if it requires more than 2 back-and-forth texts to explain, it's probably better handled another way. Video calls, bringing back the visuals, mostly. Video calls, Zoom, Google Meet, etc. have become a staple. They restore some of the non-verbal cues lost in text and email, but they come with their own set of rules. 1. Good lighting and clear background. Ensure you are well lit, ideally with light coming from in front of you, not behind. A dark, shadowy face makes it hard for others to see your expressions. Choose a clean, uncluttered background. A messy room or distracting background can pull attention away from you and your message. Use virtual backgrounds if necessary, but ensure they are professional and don't glitch. 2. Look at the camera. It's like eye contact. This is the digital equivalent of eye contact. When you look at the camera, it appears to the other person that you are looking them in the eye. If you're constantly looking at your own image or at other people on the screen, you break that eye contact. Practice speaking directly to the camera, especially when making important points. It creates a stronger sense of connection and engagement. 3. Minimize distractions around you. Just as in face-to-face conversations, distractions are communication killers. Close unnecessary applications on your computer, silence your phone, and ask family members or roommates to avoid interrupting during your call. If you're in a noisy environment, use headphones with a microphone to improve audio quality and reduce background noise. 4. Mute yourself when not speaking, but still show engagement. Always mute your microphone when you're not actively speaking to prevent background noise from disrupting the call. However, even when muted, remember that your video is on. Continue to show active listening. Nod, smile, maintain eye contact. Don't check your phone or multitask visibly. You are still on stage. The golden rule for digital communication: if it's complex, emotional, or requires nuance, pick up the phone or meet in person. Important principle: digital communication excels at conveying facts and quick updates. It fails miserably at handling emotions, complex discussions, delicate feedback, or anything that requires real-time back and forth with subtle cues. If you feel an email or text is becoming too long, or if you find yourself using too many exclamation points or emojis to convey feeling, it's a strong signal to switch to a phone call or a video call. If it's a highly sensitive issue, in person is always best. A phone call brings back tone of voice. A video call brings back facial expressions. These layers of communication are vital for true understanding and connection. Think before you send. Digital words are often permanent. They can be forwarded, saved, and reread. Once you hit send, you can't take it back. Take a moment to consider the impact of your message before it goes out into the digital ether. Connecting effectively in the digital age requires intentionality. It demands that you think critically about your medium, your message, and your audience. By mastering these digital etiquette rules and knowing when to switch to a richer communication channel, you can ensure your virtual connections are as strong and meaningful as your in-person ones. Embrace the tools, but always prioritize genuine human connection. Your clarity in the digital world will build lasting bridges. Chapter 10. Building bridges, creating instant rapport. Have you ever met someone for the first time and immediately felt a connection, a sense of ease and understanding? That feeling is rapport. Rapport is that wonderful sense of trust, harmony, and mutual understanding that makes interactions flow smoothly and feel enjoyable. It's the unspoken "I get you and you get me." When you have rapport with someone, conversations are effortless, disagreements are less likely to escalate, and collaboration becomes natural. It's the lubricant that makes social interactions frictionless and helps establish trust in new relationships. Building instant rapport doesn't mean you have to be best friends with everyone you meet. It's about creating a positive, open atmosphere, even in brief interactions. This skill is invaluable, whether you're meeting a new client, networking at an event, joining a new team, or simply striking up a conversation with someone new in your daily life. It opens doors to deeper conversations and stronger connections. Without rapport, interactions can feel stiff, awkward, or even suspicious. You might feel like you're talking to a wall, or that the other person is holding back. So, how do you cultivate this magical sense of connection? It's not about grand gestures, but about small, subtle, and sincere actions that signal openness and understanding. Here are simple, actionable ways to build instant rapport. 1. Find common ground. One of the fastest ways to build connection is to discover something you share. It could be a hobby, a mutual acquaintance, an opinion on a current event, a favorite sports team, or a shared experience, like waiting in a long line. When people discover commonalities, they feel a sense of belonging and kinship. How to do it? Listen actively for clues. Ask open-ended questions about their interests, weekend plans, or work. What brings you here today? Any exciting plans for the summer? What's been the most interesting project you've worked on recently? When they share something, listen for anything that resonates with you. Oh, you like hiking? Me too. What's your favorite trail? This immediately creates a shared space for conversation. 2. Use their name. People love the sound of their own name. It makes them feel recognized, respected, and seen. When you use someone's name appropriately in conversation, it creates an immediate sense of personal connection. How to do it? Make an effort to remember names when you meet someone new. Repeat their name shortly after they introduce themselves. Nice to meet you, name. Or use it once or twice naturally during the conversation. So, name. What are your thoughts on that? Don't overdo it, as it can sound unnatural, but strategic use is very effective. Remembering someone's name is a powerful sign of respect. 3. Show genuine curiosity. Ask open-ended questions. People enjoy talking about themselves and their experiences, especially when they feel genuinely listened to. Asking open-ended questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no, invites them to share more and shows you are interested in their thoughts, not just surface-level facts. How to do it? Instead of, "Was your weekend good?" try, "What did you get up to this weekend?" Or, "What was the highlight of your weekend?" Instead of, "Do you like your job?" try, "What do you find most interesting or challenging about your work?" Your genuine interest is palpable and makes people feel comfortable opening up. 4. Offer sincere compliments. Everyone appreciates a genuine compliment. It makes them feel good and can instantly create a positive connection. The key word here is sincere. Don't make things up and be specific. How to do it? Notice something specific you genuinely admire or appreciate. "I really enjoyed your presentation. Your points on X were particularly clear." Or "I love that color on you. It really brings out your eyes." Or "That was a very insightful comment you just made." Focus on something specific to them rather than a generic "you're great." A sincere compliment shows you're observant and thoughtful. 5. Shared laughter. Humor is a universal connector. Laughter is incredibly powerful. It releases endorphins, reduces stress, and creates a sense of shared joy and lightness. Finding a moment of shared humor can break the ice and build rapport faster than almost anything else. How to do it? Look for appropriate opportunities for light humor. This doesn't mean being a stand-up comedian, but being able to laugh at yourself or at a funny observation about the situation you're in. Be aware of your audience and avoid humor that might be offensive or misunderstood. A shared chuckle over a relatable moment is a wonderful bridge builder. 6. Active listening, revisited for rapport. While covered in Chapter 3, active listening is so crucial for rapport that it deserves a brief revisit here. When you actively listen, by giving full attention, nodding, making eye contact, and briefly paraphrasing, you are sending a clear message. I value what you are saying. I am present with you. This makes the other person feel truly heard and understood, which is the foundation of rapport. They feel respected and important in your presence. 7. Match and mirror, subtly. This is a powerful, often unconscious technique. When people are in rapport, they naturally tend to subtly match each other's body language, vocal pace, and even breathing patterns. You can consciously and subtly do this to build rapport. How to do it? If someone speaks at a slightly slower pace, gently match their pace. If they lean forward, you can slightly lean forward. If they use a particular gesture, you can subtly incorporate a similar one later. The key is subtly. Do not mimic or imitate them, as that will seem insincere or even mocking. It's about a slight natural alignment that makes the other person feel like you are on their wavelength. It creates a sense of similarity and comfort. Research in social psychology shows that subtle mirroring can indeed increase liking and rapport. 8. Be positive and open. Your overall demeanor makes a huge difference. A positive attitude, an open expression, and a welcoming body language invite connection. If you seem guarded, negative, or unapproachable, people will naturally keep their distance. How to do it? Smile genuinely. Have an open posture. Be curious and friendly. People are drawn to positive energy. This doesn't mean being fake, but consciously choosing to approach interactions with an open heart and a friendly disposition. Building rapport is not about manipulation. It's about genuine human connection. It's about making others feel comfortable, understood, and valued in your presence. When you master these techniques, you'll find that interactions become smoother, more enjoyable, and far more meaningful. From the smallest encounter to the most significant relationship, building rapport paves the way for deeper, richer connections. Practice these steps today and watch your relationships flourish. Chapter 11. The Power of No, Setting Healthy Boundaries. Have you ever found yourself saying yes to something you really didn't want to do? Perhaps you agreed to take on an extra project at work when your plate was already overflowing, or you committed to a social event you dreaded attending simply because you felt guilty saying no. The immediate relief of avoiding discomfort in that moment often gives way to resentment, stress, and exhaustion later on. This is where the profound power of no comes in. Communication isn't just about what you say yes to. It's equally, if not more, about your ability to say no when it's necessary to protect your time, energy, and well-being. Setting healthy boundaries is one of the most empowering communication skills you can develop. Boundaries are essentially the limits you establish for yourself in relationships to define what is acceptable and what is not. They are like invisible fences that protect your personal space, your values, your time, and your emotional energy. Without clear boundaries, you risk being constantly drained, feeling resentful, and losing your sense of self in the service of others' demands. Why are boundaries essential? They are foundational to self-respect and mutual respect in relationships. When you clearly communicate your limits, you are teaching others how to treat you. You are saying, "This is who I am, these are my needs, and this is what I am available for." This clarity benefits everyone. It prevents misunderstandings, reduces resentment, and fosters healthier, more balanced relationships. People who struggle with setting boundaries often find themselves feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, and taken for granted. They may also attract relationships where their needs are consistently overlooked, simply because they haven't communicated what those needs are. Recognizing when your boundaries are being crossed is the first step. Pay attention to your internal signals. Do you feel a knot in your stomach when someone asks for something? Do you feel resentment building? Do you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, or stressed by commitments you didn't truly want to make? These are all signs that your boundaries might be weak or that you're not communicating them effectively. For example, a common experience in the workplace is receiving emails after hours. If you consistently reply, you are setting a boundary, or lack thereof, that you are always available. If you don't want that, you need to communicate it. Communicating your limits is not selfish. It's an act of self-care that ultimately allows you to be more present and effective in the areas where you do choose to invest your time and energy. You can't pour from an empty cup. Here's how to communicate your boundaries clearly and respectfully. 1. Be clear and direct. Vagueness leaves room for misinterpretation. When you say no, say it directly but kindly. Avoid hinting, making excuses, or beating around the bush, as this can make your no sound like a maybe or an invitation to be persuaded. Example, instead of, I'm not sure if I can, I'm pretty busy, maybe, try, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm unable to take that on right now." Or, "I appreciate the invitation, but I won't be able to make it." Directness shows confidence and leaves no room for doubt. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's far kinder than giving false hope or resentment later. 2. Be calm, not apologetic or aggressive. Deliver your no in a calm, confident, and respectful tone. There's no need to apologize excessively for having boundaries, nor do you need to be aggressive or defensive. Your boundaries are your right. Excessive apologizing, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I feel terrible, but I just can't, please don't be mad," weakens your boundary and can make you feel guilty. A simple, polite no is enough. Example, instead of anxious, apologetic tone, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I just can't, I know I should, but..." Try. Calm, firm tone. "No, I won't be able to do that." Or, "That doesn't work for me." Practice saying no in front of a mirror until it feels more natural and confident. 3. Practice saying no gently with simple phrases. You don't need a lengthy explanation. Often a brief, polite reason can be helpful, but you don't owe anyone a detailed justification. Simple phrases can become your go-to. "I appreciate you asking, but I can't take that on right now. My schedule is full at the moment, so I'll have to decline. That sounds interesting, but I need to prioritize X. No, thank you," for simple offers. "I won't be able to help with that project." You can also offer alternatives if you choose. "I can't do it this week, but I could next week," or "I can't do X, but I can help with Y instead." This shows willingness to help within your boundaries if that's what you truly want to do. 4. It's okay to prioritize yourself. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear disappointing others, appearing selfish, or damaging relationships. But repeatedly saying yes when you mean no leads to resentment, burnout, and eventually a strained relationship anyway. You cannot be truly present and helpful to others if you are constantly depleted. Prioritizing your well-being, your mental health, and your own commitments is not selfish. It's essential for a sustainable, healthy life. Remember, saying no to one thing is often saying yes to something else important to you, like your rest, your family, your existing commitments, or your peace of mind. A study from the University of California, Berkeley, found that individuals who are able to set clear boundaries experience lower stress levels and greater overall well-being. 5. Be consistent. Boundaries are only effective if you enforce them consistently. If you say no once but then cave the next time, you send mixed signals, and people will learn that your no isn't really a no. This can be challenging, especially with people who are used to you always saying yes. They might push back or try to guilt trip you. When they do, calmly and consistently reiterate your boundary. I understand, but as I said, I'm not able to take that on right now. Each time you consistently uphold a boundary, you strengthen it and teach others to respect it. This takes courage, but it's worth it. 6. Prepare for pushback and how to respond. Not everyone will react positively to your boundaries, especially if they're not used to them. Some might be surprised, disappointed, or even try to make you feel guilty. Have a simple response ready for common pushback. If they try to guilt trip you, I understand that's frustrating for you, but I need to stick to my decision. If they insist or don't take no for an answer, my answer remains the same, or I've given you my answer. If they ask for a detailed explanation, I'm not comfortable going into details, but I've made my decision. You don't owe anyone an explanation beyond what you choose to give. The key is to remain calm, firm, and to avoid getting drawn into a debate. Setting healthy boundaries is a profound act of communication that communicates self-respect and invites others to respect you in return. It's a journey, not a destination. You'll learn and refine your boundaries as you grow and as your relationships evolve. Each no to something that drains you is a yes to your own health, happiness, and authentic living. Empower yourself with the word no. It is a fundamental tool for connecting deeply by first connecting with yourself. Chapter 12. Authenticity and vulnerability, the path to deep connection. Think about the people you feel most connected to in your life. Chances are they are the ones with whom you can truly be yourself, flaws and all. They are the ones with whom you can share your real thoughts, fears and dreams, knowing you won't be judged. This profound level of connection isn't built on a perfect image or a carefully constructed facade. It's built on two incredibly powerful communication principles: authenticity and vulnerability. These are the twin pillars that support true, deep human connection. Many of us spend our lives trying to present a perfect image to the world. We hide our insecurities, mask our struggles, and pretend to have it all together. We fear that if others saw our true selves, our imperfections, they would reject us. But ironically, this pursuit of perfection creates distance, not connection. It builds walls. No one can connect with a mask. People connect with realness. Authenticity is about being true to yourself. It means letting your words and your actions align with your inner values, beliefs, and feelings. It's about showing up as you truly are, not as you think others want you to be. An authentic communicator doesn't pretend to know something they don't, doesn't fake enthusiasm they don't feel, and doesn't hide their true emotions. They are congruent. Their inside matches their outside. When you are authentic, people can trust you because what you say and what you do line up. You become a reliable and genuine presence. Vulnerability, on the other hand, is the willingness to be seen, truly seen, even when it feels scary. It's sharing your true self, your fears, your imperfections, your struggles, your hopes, your dreams, and your emotions, even when there's no guarantee of the outcome. It's stepping out from behind the mask. This is often misinterpreted as weakness. But as pioneering researcher Dr. Brené Brown has extensively shown, vulnerability is not weakness. It is, in fact, a powerful act of courage. It is the birthplace of connection, empathy, trust, and love. Dr. Brown's research, detailed in her best-selling books like Daring Greatly and The Gifts of Imperfection, highlights that vulnerability is fundamental to human connection. She found that people who live wholeheartedly are those who embrace vulnerability because they understand that true connection is impossible without it. When you are vulnerable, you create a space for others to be vulnerable in return. You give them permission to be imperfect, to be human. Why are authenticity and vulnerability so crucial for deep connection? 1. They build trust. When you share who you truly are, even the parts you deem imperfect, you demonstrate trust in the other person. You are saying, "I trust you enough to show you this part of me." This act of trust is usually reciprocated, building a stronger foundation for the relationship. Trust is the bedrock of any deep connection. 2. They create a space of belonging. When you are authentic and vulnerable, you allow others to see your humanity. And in seeing your humanity, they see their own reflected. This creates a powerful sense of me too and you're not alone, which fosters belonging. We all crave to be accepted for who we are, not just for a polished version of ourselves. 3. They disarm judgment. When you lead with vulnerability, you often disarm potential judgment. It's harder to judge someone when they are openly sharing their struggles or imperfections. Instead, it often elicits empathy and compassion. 4. They invite reciprocation. Vulnerability is contagious. When you are vulnerable, you create a safe space for others to respond in kind. This reciprocal sharing deepens the connection exponentially. It's like a doorway. When you open yours, others are more likely to open theirs. How to cultivate authenticity and vulnerability in your communication. 1. Know your values. Authenticity starts with knowing who you are and what you stand for. What are your core values? What matters most to you? When your communication aligns with your values, it feels natural and true. Take some time to reflect on what truly drives you and what principles you want to live by. When you communicate from a place of clear values, your words carry more weight and sincerity. 2. Practice honesty with kindness. Authenticity doesn't mean being brutally honest and hurtful. It means being honest about your feelings, your needs, and your thoughts, but always delivered with kindness and respect for others. If you're feeling frustrated, express that frustration using I statements, rather than pretending everything is fine. If you don't agree with something, respectfully state your perspective. Example, instead of, "That's a stupid idea." Dishonest if you secretly agree. Or, authentic but unkind. Try, "I appreciate that idea, but I have a different perspective on how we could approach it. Here's what I'm thinking." Authentic and kind. Being honest about yourself is the core. 3. Share your imperfections. One of the most powerful ways to be vulnerable is to admit when you don't know something, when you've made a mistake, or when you're struggling. This makes you relatable and human. It's far more endearing than trying to be perfect. Example, "I really messed that up, and I'm learning from it." Or, "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with this project right now, and I could use some help." Or, "I don't have the answer to that, but I'll find out." This builds trust because people see you as real, not just a flawless facade. It creates empathy and makes others feel more comfortable sharing their own struggles. 4. Express your feelings. Many of us have been taught to suppress our emotions, especially negative ones. But expressing your authentic feelings, appropriately and using I statements, is a key part of vulnerability. It allows others to understand your internal world. I feel nervous about this presentation. I'm really excited about this opportunity. I felt hurt when that comment was made. Sharing your feelings, even the uncomfortable ones, strengthens your connection by revealing your humanity. 5. Know when and with whom to be vulnerable. While vulnerability is powerful, it also requires wisdom. Trust is key. Don't bare your deepest soul to a complete stranger or someone you don't trust. Start small. Test the waters with people you feel relatively safe with and gradually increase your vulnerability as trust builds. Vulnerability is a reciprocal dance. If you share something personal and the other person responds with judgment or disinterest, that's a signal to proceed with caution in the future. But if they respond with empathy and openness, that's an invitation to deepen the connection. This is not about oversharing every detail of your life, but about choosing moments to reveal more of your true self where it feels appropriate and safe. 6. Embrace imperfection. The fear of being imperfect is the biggest barrier to authenticity and vulnerability. Understand that your imperfections make you unique and relatable. They are not weaknesses to be hidden, but aspects of your humanity that invite connection. Practice self-compassion. If you stumble, if you say the wrong thing, treat yourself with kindness. Every time you bravely choose authenticity and vulnerability, you are reinforcing the muscles of deep connection. When you communicate authentically and allow yourself to be vulnerable, you stop wasting energy on maintaining a false front. You create relationships that are genuine, resilient, and deeply satisfying. You become a beacon for others to show up as their true selves. This is the path to truly profound human connection, built on a foundation of courage, honesty, and shared humanity. Your true self is your most powerful asset. Let it shine. Chapter 13. Communication in key relationships, personal and professional. We've explored the fundamental building blocks of effective communication: listening, nonverbal cues, empathy, clarity, managing conflict, giving feedback, mastering digital tools, and embracing authenticity. Now it's time to see how these universal principles flex and adapt within the most important relationships in our lives. While the core skills remain the same, the context, the emotional stakes, and the specific nuances of how we apply them shift dramatically depending on whether we're talking to our family, our closest friends, our romantic partner, or our colleagues at work. Understanding these subtle shifts is crucial. You wouldn't speak to your boss the same way you speak to your best friend, nor would you communicate with your child as you do with your spouse. The ability to adapt your communication style and approach to different people and contexts is a hallmark of a truly skilled communicator. It shows respect, understanding, and emotional intelligence. Let's delve into the specific applications of our communication toolkit in your most significant relationships. Family communication. The foundation of your world. Your family is often the first place you learn about communication, for better or worse. Family dynamics can be complex, influenced by years of history, unspoken rules, and deeply ingrained patterns. Improving communication here can lead to profound healing, deeper bonds, and a more harmonious home life. 1. Navigating different generations and communication styles. Your parents, grandparents, siblings, and children all come from different eras and might have vastly different ideas about how to communicate. Your parents might value respect for authority and less direct emotional expression, while your children might be more accustomed to open, direct communication. How to approach it? Be patient. Understand that their communication style is often a product of their upbringing and environment. Try to meet them where they are. For example, if an elder prefers a phone call to a text message, honor that. If your teenager is more comfortable texting about sensitive topics, be open to that medium. Educate gently where needed. You can say, "I'm trying to be better at direct communication, so if I seem a bit blunt, know it's coming from a place of honesty, not disrespect." 2. Addressing old patterns and starting new ones. Families often fall into ruts. The eldest child always takes charge, one parent always plays the peacemaker, or certain topics are always off limits. Consciously identify these patterns. How to approach it? Start small. Choose one old pattern you want to change. If your family avoids conflict, be the one to gently initiate a difficult conversation using I statements and focusing on the issue. If arguments always escalate, Be the one to suggest a pause and a cool-down period. Communicate your intention. I've noticed we often interrupt each other. Can we try to let each person finish their thought before responding? Consistency is key to establishing new, healthier patterns. 3. Expressing appreciation and love. Sometimes in the comfort of family, we forget to verbalize our love and appreciation, assuming it's understood. But hearing it makes a world of difference. How to approach it? Make it a habit to regularly express gratitude and affection. I really appreciate you doing X, or thank you for Y. Tell your family members you love them. Be specific with your compliments. You're such a great listener, or I love your sense of humor. These simple verbal affirmations reinforce bonds and create a positive emotional climate. Friendship communication, nurturing your chosen family. Friendships are vital for our well-being, providing support, companionship, and joy. Healthy communication keeps these bonds strong and resilient. 1. Maintaining trust and intimacy. Friendships thrive on trust. This means being reliable, keeping confidences, and being honest, with kindness. Intimacy comes from sharing your true self, your vulnerabilities, and your experiences. How to approach it? Be a good secret keeper.
If a friend confides in you, guard their trust fiercely. Be consistent in your actions, matching your words. Regularly check in, not just with big news, but with everyday life. Share your own vulnerabilities appropriately. It invites them to do the same. I've been feeling a bit down lately, and I wanted to share it with you. 2. Supporting each other through challenges. When a friend is struggling, your communication becomes their lifeline.
It's about being present, listening, and offering comfort. How to approach it? Practice deep empathy. Instead of immediately offering advice or trying to fix it, start by listening. Validate their feelings. That sounds incredibly tough. Or, I can see why you'd be so upset. Ask, how can I best support you right now? Sometimes just being there to listen is the most powerful thing you can do. 3. Honest conversations. When expectations aren't met. Friends sometimes disappoint each other. Instead of letting resentment build, communicate honestly and directly. How to approach it? Use I statements. I felt hurt when you cancelled last minute without explanation because I was really looking forward to our plans. Give them a chance to explain. Focus on resolving the issue and preserving the friendship rather than assigning blame. I value our friendship, so I wanted to talk about this. Romantic partnerships, your most intimate connection. Romantic relationships are often the crucible where our communication skills are most tested and most vital. They require the deepest levels of empathy, vulnerability, and clear expression. 1. Deep listening and empathy in your most intimate relationship. It's easy to assume your partner knows what you're thinking or feeling, or to get complacent in listening. But active listening and empathy are more important here than anywhere else. How to approach it? Schedule dedicated time for conversation, free from distractions. Practice reflective listening. So what I hear you saying is that you feel emotion because reason. Is that right? Put yourself in their shoes during disagreements. Ask, what's going on for you right now before reacting? Don't assume, always clarify. 2. Effective conflict resolution for lasting love. Disagreements are inevitable. How you handle them determines the health and longevity of your relationship. How to approach it. Implement the conflict communication strategies from Chapter 7. Take breaks when heated. Focus on the issue, not attacking your partner. Use I statements. Aim for understanding and resolution, not winning. Learn your partner's specific conflict triggers and try to avoid them, or at least approach them with extra care. Remember the common goal, a loving, respectful partnership. 3. Communicating needs, desires, and dreams. For a relationship to flourish, both partners need to feel comfortable expressing their needs, what they desire, and their aspirations for the future. Unspoken needs lead to resentment. How to approach it? Be clear and specific about your needs. I need more quality time with you, not, you never spend time with me. Share your desires and dreams openly. This involves vulnerability. I'm dreaming of X, and I wanted to talk about how we might get there together. This fosters shared vision and keeps the relationship growing. Regularly check in. Is there anything you need from me right now? Workplace communication, navigating professional success. Effective communication at work is directly linked to productivity, career advancement, and a positive work environment. 1. Team collaboration and clear instructions. Successful teams communicate seamlessly. This means clear delegation, open information sharing, and constructive feedback. How to approach it? When delegating tasks, be crystal clear about expectations, deadlines, and desired outcomes. Ask clarifying questions when receiving instructions. Just to confirm, you need X by Y time, correct? Encourage open dialogue in meetings. Actively share your progress and challenges with your team. Use tools like shared documents or project management software to keep everyone on the same page. 2. Giving and receiving professional feedback. Feedback in the workplace is essential for performance and growth. It should be objective, behavioral, and focused on improvement. How to approach it? When giving feedback, use the SBI, Situation Behavior Impact Model. Keep it professional and private. When receiving feedback, listen actively, thank the person, ask clarifying questions, and reflect before responding. Don't get defensive. View feedback as a gift that helps you improve your professional skills and career trajectory. 3. Leading with empathy, managing up effectively. Good leaders communicate with empathy, understanding their team's challenges and motivations. Managing up involves communicating effectively with your superiors to ensure your work is recognized and your needs are met. How to approach it? If you're a leader, practice empathetic listening with your team members. Understand their workload and challenges. Clearly articulate goals and provide support. When managing up, be proactive in communicating your progress, any roadblocks, and what you need from your manager. Frame requests in terms of benefit to the team or company, not just yourself. To meet this deadline, I'll need X resource rather than, I can't do this without X. Adapting your approach to different people and contexts is the ultimate sign of communication mastery. It's about recognizing that while the core principles are universal, their application is nuanced. You wouldn't wear a swimsuit to a formal dinner, and you wouldn't use aggressive communication with your boss. By consciously adjusting your style, your words, and your nonverbal cues to fit the relationship and situation, you become a truly adaptable, effective, and deeply connected communicator in every aspect of your life. Practice this flexibility. Your relationships will thank you for it. Chapter 14. Practice makes progress. Integrating your new skills. You've journeyed through the core principles of effective communication. You've learned about the power of listening, the impact of nonverbal cues, the compass of empathy, the gift of clarity, the art of navigating conflict, the wisdom of feedback, the nuances of digital connection, and the strength of authenticity and vulnerability. That's a lot of knowledge. But here's the crucial truth. Knowledge alone won't change your communication. Reading this book is like reading a manual on how to ride a bicycle. You understand the theory, but until you hop on, push off, and maybe wobble a bit, you won't actually learn to ride. This isn't a read once and forget book. It's an invitation to embark on a lifelong journey of practice and refinement. Communication is a skill, and like any skill, whether it's playing a musical instrument, learning a new language, or mastering a sport, it requires consistent, intentional practice to become second nature. You wouldn't expect to become a piano virtuoso after reading one book on music theory, would you? The same applies here. Your goal isn't immediate perfection, but consistent progress. Think about it. Your current communication habits have been ingrained over years, even decades. They are deeply wired. Changing them requires creating new neural pathways, new default responses. This takes repetition and conscious effort. But the good news is, every single interaction is an opportunity to practice. Your daily life is your communication laboratory. Here's how to integrate your new skills and make practice a natural part of your everyday. 1. Start small. Focus on one skill at a time. Don't try to implement everything at once. That's overwhelming and likely to lead to discouragement. Instead, pick just one skill from this book to focus on each week or even each day. Example: this Tuesday, your focus is active listening, paraphrasing. In every conversation you have, make a conscious effort to paraphrase what you hear. On Wednesday, your focus is using I statements. Whenever you need to express a feeling or a need, consciously construct an I statement. Next week, your focus might be making eye contact and open posture. This focused approach makes the task manageable and allows you to build momentum. Celebrate small wins as you go. Each successful application reinforces the new habit. 2. Be mindful in your daily interactions. Turn everyday conversations into opportunities for practice. The cashier at the grocery store, your morning coffee order, a chat with a neighbor, a quick exchange with a colleague, all are chances to apply what you've learned. Example: when ordering coffee, practice making clear eye contact and speaking with a confident, moderate volume. When a colleague mentions something, practice asking an open-ended question that shows genuine curiosity. During dinner with your family, consciously try to listen without interrupting. These low-stakes environments are perfect for honing your skills without the pressure of a high-stakes conversation. 3. Look for opportunities to practice. Actively seek out situations where you can apply specific skills. If you want to practice clarity, volunteer to explain a concept in a meeting. If you want to practice conflict resolution, suggest a structured conversation with a family member about a recurring issue. If you want to practice giving feedback, ask a trusted friend if they'd be open to a feedback exchange. The more you intentionally put yourself in situations that require these skills, the faster you will improve. The human brain learns best by doing, not just by observing. 4. Learn from mistakes. Every awkward moment is a chance to learn. You will stumble, you will say the wrong thing, you will feel awkward sometimes. This is not failure. It is an essential part of learning. Every awkward moment, every misstep, is a valuable piece of data. Instead of beating yourself up, practice self-compassion. Ask yourself, what did I learn from that? What could I have done differently? How can I approach this better next time? Reframing mistakes as learning opportunities removes the fear and encourages continuous experimentation. A study by Stanford University's Carol Dweck on growth mindset shows that individuals who view challenges and setbacks as opportunities for learning are more resilient and ultimately more successful. 5. Seek feedback from trusted friends or colleagues. One of the fastest ways to improve is to get outside perspective. Ask people you trust and who are willing to be honest with you if they've noticed any changes in your communication or if they have specific observations. Example: hey, I'm really trying to improve my active listening. Have you noticed me interrupting less? Or do you have any feedback on how I could listen more effectively? Choose people who you know will give you constructive, kind feedback, not just criticism. Their observations can highlight blind spots you're unaware of and provide invaluable insights for your growth. 6. Journaling. Reflect on your interactions. After an important or challenging conversation, take a few minutes to write about it. This doesn't have to be a formal process. Just jot down some notes in a notebook or on your phone. What happened? What did you say, do? What were your non-verbals? What did the other person say, do? What were their non-verbals? How did you feel during and after? What went well? What could be improved? What did you learn? This reflection helps solidify your learning, makes you more self-aware, and allows you to track your progress over time. It makes your learning conscious and intentional. 7. Celebrate your small victories. Learning new skills takes effort, and it's important to acknowledge and celebrate your progress. Did you successfully use an I statement in a difficult conversation? Did you truly listen to someone without interrupting for the first time in a while? Did you set a boundary gracefully? Take a moment to recognize these successes. This positive reinforcement encourages you to keep going. It reminds you that your efforts are paying off and that you are indeed making progress. Your communication skills are not fixed. They are dynamic and constantly evolving. This book has given you the map and the tools. Now it's up to you to walk the path. Embrace the journey of practice. Be patient with yourself. Be persistent. Every conscious effort you make to communicate more effectively will bring you closer to the authentic, deeply connected life you desire. You are capable of extraordinary connection. Keep practicing. Keep growing. The rewards are beyond measure. You have embarked on a profound journey, delving into the very heart of human interaction. We began by recognizing communication as your invisible superpower, the force that shapes every aspect of your life. We looked inward to understand your unique communication DNA, acknowledging the styles that serve you and those that hold you back. We then built a robust toolkit, mastering the art of active listening, understanding the silent language of non-verbal cues, harnessing the profound power of empathy, and learning to speak with clarity and impact. You gain strategies for navigating tough conversations and transforming conflict into growth, for giving and receiving feedback gracefully, and for connecting authentically in our complex digital world. Finally, we explored how these skills flex and adapt across your most important relationships, and committed to a path of continuous practice. This journey is not about reaching a final destination, but about embracing a way of living. Communication is not a task to be completed. It is a continuous flow, a dynamic dance of interaction that evolves with every conversation and every relationship. The insights and tools you've gained are not just for moments of crisis or grand gestures. They are for the everyday, for the quiet moments, for the fleeting glances, for the casual remarks, and for the deep, intimate exchanges that weave the tapestry of your life. Your voice, used intentionally and with newfound skill, has the power to build bridges where walls once stood. It can mend misunderstandings, soothe hurt feelings, ignite inspiration, foster trust, and deepen love. Imagine the ripple effect of your improved communication, fewer frustrations, and more understanding in your family life. Smoother collaborations and greater success in your professional endeavors. Richer, more supportive friendships that stand the test of time. A more profound sense of connection and belonging in your community and in the world. Improved communication isn't just a skill, it's a way of being. It's about showing up authentically, listening with an open heart, speaking your truth with kindness, and navigating the complexities of human relationships with grace and courage. It's about being fully present, truly seeing others, and allowing yourself to be seen in return. This practice will bring more joy, understanding, and love into your life and the lives of those around you. Remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. There will be days when you stumble, when old habits resurface, or when you feel misunderstood. That is absolutely normal. The measure of your growth won't be that you never make a communication error, but that you recognize it, learn from it, and bravely choose to try again. Each attempt, each conscious effort, strengthens your communication muscles and deepens your capacity for connection. Keep practicing. Keep observing. Keep listening with your ears, your eyes, and your heart. Keep speaking your truth with clarity and compassion. Keep learning from every interaction. The world needs your authentic voice, your empathetic ear, and your courageous heart. Go forth and connect deeply. Your journey has just begun. The echoes of your intentional voice will create a lifetime of meaningful relationships.